Hey everyone, I'm your astrologer Brittany of Ethereal Astrology, taking you to new heights with inspired perspectives that transcend the details. Today, you're watching your horoscope for the full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Libra, which occurs on Monday, March 25th, 2024 at 3 a.m. Eastern Time or 12 a.m. Pacific Time. Now, what I think is going on here at this full moon lunar eclipse in Libra is that we are letting go big time of a lot of old things that are no longer working for us here and are no longer in alignment with us so that we can move forward in a different way. But even though we're letting go of a lot of things that are no longer meant for us, we still feel a little stuck, overwhelmed, confused, and uncomfortable. And that's because there's still some more details, little tiny details in regards to this old stuff that we need to tie up that we just haven't yet. And because we still need a little bit more time to adjust our identity or our sense of self inwardly here to this different experience without these old things bringing us down that we're going to have to work through. So that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. If you want to hear more about that, please do stay tuned because I'm going to hop into it right now. And in order to hop into it, what I like to do first is, of course, place on the chart what it is that I'm referring to in this video so that you can see it and follow along with me. So let me do that now. This video is for the full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Libra. Because of that, I have adjusted my chart accordingly to that event. I know that it's adjusted to this full moon eclipse in Libra because we've got the moon over here in Libra making an exact opposition over to the sun here in Aries. And when the moon opposes the sun, that is what's considered a full moon. And I know that it's an eclipse here because it is in close proximity here to the nodal axis. And in this case, the moon is near the south node here in the sign of Libra. So that's what makes it an eclipse. Okay, now what is this full moon eclipse in Libra all about in a very general sense? Well, full moons are a lot about stepping into things that we've been working towards for quite some time here. And not only stepping into things, but also too about ending things as well here once we've stepped into them and completed them so that we can move forward. And especially I might linger more a little bit on the endings with it being near the south node, which tends to be about that. Okay, not only are full moons about stepping into things we've been working towards for a while and ending or completing them here, but it also too is about us getting some sort of insight or illumination here about things as well, because that is when the moon is the brightest in the sky. Okay, and an eclipse here superpowers that in a lot of ways and makes it extra significant. So something super significant that we're stepping into, that we've been working towards, or that we are releasing here in some way and getting some insights about. Okay, not only that, but I also want to note, again, with it being on the south node instead of the north node here, the south node does tend to be one that's more of endings and letting things go here than of beginnings, because it does have to do with things that we've been doing for a long time that are just no longer useful for us anymore. And not only do I want to note that, but because the south node is a lot about endings or letting go of things that feel more natural to us, this can be more uncomfortable perhaps to have the eclipse here on this node in particular. Okay, now what is it here that we are stepping into and especially letting go of and getting insights on here that is very significant and could feel a little challenging? Well, those are Libra themes because that just happens to be where this eclipse is. Okay, what are the Libra themes that I want to focus on? Well, I think the one that really stands out to me the most, I think, for this eclipse has a lot to do with the harvest. You know, Aries, where the sun just entered, which is obviously a part of this full moon eclipse, is the equinox. It's the spring equinox here in the northern hemisphere, which is where the ancient astrologers were when they were coming up with all these principles here, which is really the things growing and starting to become more fertile. And Libra is the fall equinox here, which is more about the seeds that you planted harvesting here, reaching fulfillment, and then after that, of course, dying, so other crops can be planted later. And so I think one of the interpretations I want to offer here is that what is going on at this full moon lunar eclipse in Libra is that we're kind of stepping into something that we had been trying to harvest or work towards for a long time. And this is an eclipse, very significant, so many years here, since it takes the eclipses about 18 years to come back to the same spot here that's going on. We're kind of letting go of a lot of things that we had been working towards for a while here that are past their prime, or that no longer resonate with us here, or that there's just no more juice. So no more juice in here in order for us to move on. Okay, so I think it's that, and I think it does have to do with very significant things, as I've said, because this is an eclipse that have been very far in our past, that have gone on for many years, but also too because these are the cardinal signs. Libra and Aries and cardinal signs do tend to take more initiative here, or have to do with some of the more significant things going on in our lives here as well. So I think it does have a lot to do with that. Okay, not only that, but Libra, to me, in a lot of ways, I also consider about alignment, since it is also known as a sign of peace and of harmony, right? And you feel peace and harmony when you're more in alignment. So I think that we're also letting go of, or getting rid of, at this full moon, not only a lot of old things that we've been working towards and harvesting that are no longer meant for us, but the old sense of alignment that came with those things here. You know, we used to align with the old harvest. Well, we're letting go of that so that we can eventually align with other things here that might be better for us. Not only that, but Libra, to me, is an air sign. So it's a lot about our mind and our ideas, the way that we think here about life, or weigh out facts, weigh out information. And so I think we're also trying to let go of that as we let go of old things, right, that are no longer working for us or no longer meant for us at this time, in an old sense of alignment or identity that came from that here. We also need to let go of the old ideas that worked for that experience of life, but just don't work anymore for what it is that we're hoping to move into. So I think there's some of that. Not only is that going on, but another thought about Libra too is that Libra in some ways can be about appearances, because it is a Venus ruled sign, stereotypically known for beauty and focusing on that. So I think too, there can also be a sense as well of not only letting go of a lot of old things that we had been trying to work towards and grow for some time that are just no longer bearing fruit anymore, or no longer meant for us, and the sense of alignment and ideas that came with that. But I think with us getting rid of those things, we may be adjusting our appearance, or the appearance of our lives, to be different, especially if some of these old things here are going, or the way that we might present our appearance here. In addition to that, Libra also has to do with relationships, of course, as well. I'm feeling more of the other themes, but you can't talk about Libra without talking about relationships. So there's also some things there where we're letting go of relationships that maybe worked for us at one point with our old harvest or old lives or old things that we were doing, but just are no longer going to work for us anymore. Here, we're going to hold us back. We're letting go of those here as well, so that we can also move forward too. Okay, so I think that's what I'm going to say for now that comes to mind about the main themes. Just to repeat that, the main themes of this full moon lunar eclipse in Libra here is that we are really stepping into things that we've been working towards for many, many, many years, and a sense of alignment with that, and then releasing, right? Releasing those things that we've been working towards, and that sense of alignment, and the appearance and the ideas that came from that, and some of the relationships from that time, so that we can move forward in a different way after this point. Okay, now, before I move forward now to give you more details or more specifics about this full moon eclipse in Libra and the exact aspects that it's going to be making, I do like to go backwards in time for a minute here before I move forwards, to give you more of the context here of this full moon in Libra and how we got here and why these things are coming up. Okay, because I do believe that the context can change a lot from interpretation, you know. So we're going to do that. If you're not interested in this section, because it can get kind of long-winded, or if you've already heard it and you don't want to hear it again, totally fine. Just go ahead and skip ahead in the video. I'll put the timestamps down below in the description box so that you can do so. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hop into the past context right now I like to go back to the beginning of 2020, January to April of 2020, because something very rare, very uncomfortable, and very significant here happened at that time. And that was that we had Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter come conjunct here in the sign of Capricorn. Okay, that is a rare alignment because Saturn and Pluto don't come conjunct that often. It takes about 35 years for them to do so. With Saturn and Pluto, and Jupiter is not usually there while Saturn and Pluto are coming conjunct here. So that makes it a bit rare, happens every few decades. And it is uncomfortable here because Saturn and Pluto are typically known as more challenging planets since they're the outer planets, which are just harder for us here on Earth to understand. And Jupiter was in Capricorn, a sign that it doesn't really like to be in and doesn't really function that well in, which is a bummer since it's the planet of gifts and good luck. So, can be a bit difficult. Okay, what was the difficult thing going on? Well, I think what was going on at that time is that we started to understand or realize Jupiter, that there were some things in our lives that had been going on for many years and decades here that we no longer like or no longer resonated with here, that we needed to make significant change here. Pluto in the structure of our lives, Saturn in order to end, so that we could eventually move forward in a different and better way. And it was us starting to make big, drastic, uncomfortable changes in our lives in order to end these things that are no longer working for us. Okay, that then leads me now to the next alignment that I want to mention. I'm going to fast forward 2 years later now to about April of 2022. Okay, at that time, we had a new moon solar eclipse here in the sign of Taurus. Okay. On the North Node. I consider that more helpful because, again, it was on the North Node. What is that all about? Well, new moons are about new beginnings, solar eclipses, superpower things. Taurus is a lot about fertility and abundance here, and more able to move forward into a more abundant experience of our lives. So what I think happened in April of 2022 is that we felt like we had ended enough old things that were no longer resonating with us so that we could start to move forward in a different way in life and into a better experience for us. Okay, that then leads me now to the next alignment that I want to mention, which happened about 2 weeks after that. So right around the same time, April or May of 2022, we had a full moon lunar eclipse here in the sign of Scorpio. You know, that was a bit of a little more challenging because it was on the South Node, which does tend to be more challenging than the North Node here. And full moons can also be a little bit more intense as well. What was the difficulty there? Well, the South Node is about habits that we have that are no longer useful for us at this time. You know, they'll be useful again for us later, or just like they're no longer useful for us now that we need to get rid of, that tend to be hard to get rid of, right? It's hard to get rid of a habit when you've been doing it for a long time here that is keeping us stuck from moving forward here that we needed to resolve. What habits did we have here that were keeping us stuck, preventing us from moving forward into this new and different way that we needed to let go of, that are difficult to let go of? Well, those are going to be Scorpio habits because that's where the eclipse in the South Node was. And Scorpio, when negative, which is what this was here, can be too intertwined with relationships and other people, can spend too much money, can make too many changes now, and indulge in too many negative emotions from the past that maybe aren't the most useful at this time. So we had a lot of those habits that we needed to get rid of, and not only get rid of those, but we needed to adopt new ones that are better for us, which were more North Node and Taurus. Slower, less change, more calm emotions, more self-reliant and independent, saving money or making money here, and more secure and more aware of ourselves and our values and of who we are. Okay, so that's what happened then shortly after that, around April, May of 2022. Ended old experience in new experience that's better, want to move forward, but can't move forward, stuck because I have too many old habits that aren't working, too much change, too many negative emotions, too much with other people, spending too much money that I need to get rid of to be slow, stable, secure, self-reliant, thrifty. That's hard. It's hard to get rid of. There's going on. That, to be honest with you, I think took pretty much almost all of 2022 in order for us to deal with. It really wasn't until the beginning of 2023, January 2023, after Mars went retrograde in Gemini, about our mindset, and Mercury went retrograde also about our mindset in Capricorn, the same place that Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn came conjunct, that I think we started to adopt this different mindset, slow, stable, secure, thrifty, self-reliant here, that was going on. And not only adopt this different mindset, but adjust some things with relationships and money and maybe even job and health in our lives to be more slow, stable, secure here, and in a more true to our needs and our values here. That was going on. Okay, that then leads me on the next group. I'm going to mention a few together here that happened around February to March, I believe, of 2023. Okay, so what was that, a year ago? We had Pluto move into Aquarius for the first time in a long time, and Saturn move into Pisces also for the first time in a long time here. When planets change signs, especially the slower moving ones, they do indicate significant chapter changes in our lives here. That's going on because it doesn't happen that often here, to experience life in a different way or to start to do things differently. And with Pluto and Aquarius, a way that we felt was more freeing and more authentic to us, and with Saturn and Pisces in a way that we felt like was different from the past, with Pisces being the last sign of the zodiac. So a few months after we got the right mindset about some things, we then started to feel like we're more able to move forward yet again into a new, different, and better experience of life here with maybe more momentum. Okay, that then leads me now to the next alignment that I think I'm going to mention somewhere around May of last year, 2023. What happened around May of 2023? We then had Venus, I believe, go retrograde here in the sign of Leo. And that's a bit of a challenge because it's a planet going retrograde, which is not its natural motion, especially a personal planet here like Venus, which has more say over our everyday lives. Okay, what was the challenge here? Well, Leo here is a lot about living in the present. Not only is it about living in the present, it's also about taking risks to move things forward here, do things that are a true expression of our heart and things that we're passionate about. Not only that, but Leo is a lot about happiness, about joy, about pleasure, and about tapping more into the good things here in life that's going on. And I think we are struggling to move forward into a better experience of life, take risks, enjoy it, and struggling to be happy in life and to have fun and enjoy life, which is what this new chapter of life is all about. And I think struggling to do so with Pluto, which retrograded back into Capricorn right after that, where it had been for the past 15 years, because we're too stuck, Pluto in Capricorn, emergency mode, being too hard on ourselves and career, reputation, status here, that really it wasn't helping us here at this time. Okay, so that was May of last year. I'm ready to move into a new experience with the right mindset now, slow, stable, secure, 30, self-reliant, but still can't do it because I'm stuck in emergency mode. I'm stuck in fight or flight. I'm stuck in things that don't resonate with me, and I can't be happy and have fun and take risks that needed to be addressed. Okay, that then leads me now to the next alignment I want to mention. About a month or two later, July, I think it was June, July here of 2023. Around July of 2023, we had Pluto back in the Capricorn at the last degrees of Capricorn make a square to the nodal axis, which included the south node here in Libra and the north node here in Aries. Okay, which was a very significant thing. What is this about? Well, Pluto is about permanent change and big changes that needed to happen, especially with it squaring the nodal axis here at this time. And big changes that needed to happen in order to really cultivate the opposite point of Pluto. That's really what I focus on a lot here, according to evolutionary astrology, which is to be more in touch with our emotions, to be more sensitive, to not be stuck in emergency mode here. So we needed to make some big changes in order to end emergency mode and honor more of our emotions and our happiness here, with these being on the same side of the zodiac, and make some big choices with it being square, the hard choices, square the nodal axis in order to do so. So that's what happened in June, July. I'm still stuck again in this new chapter of life because I'm stuck in emergency mode. I have to make big changes in a lot of different areas of my life to stop being in emergency mode and stop doing things I don't really feel emotionally called to do and feel happy with here, so that I can move forward and honor more of my emotions, which we did. Okay, that then leads me now to the beginning of this year here. January of 2024, it was a new moon in Capricorn here. And what happened the beginning of this year is that we then started to feel like we were living a life that was more in touch with our emotions, more happy, more joyful, and back that up with some of the structure and some of the discipline here in order to move forward on it. Because it wasn't about getting rid of discipline, just doing it in a healthier and in a better and more balanced way here. That it is that we needed. And because in January, we finally started to feel like we're getting the hang of this thing, right? Honoring more of our emotions, having more fun in more of a balanced way. We then started to try, especially in February at that new moon in Aquarius, to move forward again into a new, different and better experience of life. Here, and doing things in unique and different ways than what we had done before. But we started to run into another issue after that. And the issue we started to run into came up 2 weeks ago at that new moon in Pisces, the beginning of March. Here was that there were still some old things from the past that hadn't fully been resolved here, which could be from 2020, but I think extend even before that. Here that's been going on that still hadn't fully been resolved externally in our situation, and also internally here within our soul that needed to be worked out, that we then spent some time the past 2 weeks significantly working out. And because the past 2 weeks we spent more time working out old things that were still in the way from us moving forward, we now at this full moon lunar eclipse in Libra feel like we've done that to a significant extent. You know, we feel like we've worked out some things from our past and let go of them, released them that were good for us at one time, but that we no longer feel connected to. And we're releasing that old sense of alignment and attachment that came from that here so that we can free ourselves up for other things and the ideas about our life. We're letting go of the old ideas that were attached to these old things so that also we can move in a different way, an old appearance, and even some old relationships that were a part of these old things that are just no longer meant for us here so that we can move on. Okay, and that's it. That catches us up to where we are now, okay, because that's it. I'm just going to repeat that one last time here before we move on into another part of this video. So let me do that. In terms of the context, the larger big picture of this full moon lunar eclipse in Libra is that we are letting go of more stuff here internally and externally here that we've really been trying to let go of since 2020 and even before 2020 that used to be good for us, but it's just no longer good for us. It's no longer in alignment with us anymore. And we're letting go of our old ideas of our life and self as a result, where life appeared to be as a result, and maybe even some relationships from those old things as well that no longer are meant for us here so that we can move onwards here into a different and better experience of life. Okay. And that's it, because that's it. I'm now going to move on. And I'm going to move on now to the more specifics about this full moon lunar eclipse in Libra and the specific aspects that are happening with it and around it. And to do that, I'm going to place it on the chart again. So let's do that. Here's the moon in Libra, opposite the sun here in Aries is the full moon. And of course, because it's near the south node, it is an eclipse. So we've got the full moon lunar eclipse here in Libra on the chart, which again is about us releasing old things that we've been working towards for quite some time that are no longer resonating with us, and the old sense of alignment and the old ideas and appearances that came with that, and old relationships. Okay. What do I want to look at first? Sure, you know, another thing, maybe I'll look at this first. Here, we can also say that what's going on with this full moon eclipse is that the sun is somewhat conjunct Neptune. Okay, because it's within like 8 degrees or so. Now, this is more of a thing of the past here, but I think it can just help to give more of information about this eclipse and what it's about. The sun conjunct Neptune. What is that? The sun is about our present experience here at this time in our lives and what we're really identifying with. And Neptune, especially in Pisces, its home sign, which is the last sign of the zodiac, is about releasing the past and letting things go here and shifting out of that, especially because the sun was in Pisces, a mutable sign, letting these things go. So this is another confirmation to me that there is a big thing, I think, going on at this lunar eclipse in Libra of shifting out of more old things from the past that are no longer working for us and letting letting that go, because we've got Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac here, and we've got Libra, you know, about the harvest here, of like finishing the harvest, finishing old things that are no longer working for us so that that can be put to rest and we can move on. So I'm getting just a big sense here about that is going on. Not only that, but another thought here I want to add about this full moon lunar eclipse is that it also is trine Pluto here as well. We've got the moon in Libra, trine Pluto in Aquarius, and of course the sun sextile it, because the sun's exactly opposite the moon. I consider this to be a fine thing, not necessarily because I like Pluto a lot, but because it's bisextile and trine here working together, which I think can also be good in some ways. What might the good things be here? Well, we've got the moon in Libra, an air sign, connecting with Pluto and Aquarius, an air sign. They are a lot about ideas, okay? And sure, we're letting go of old ideas at the full moon, but Pluto is about change and transformation. So this can also be about new ideas coming into the picture, about our lives, who we want to be, about what types of relationships we want to associate with the Libra, about different opportunities we want to have with the Aquarius that might open up for our future. And with it sextiling Aries, here where the sun is, other things we might want to do here as well. So yes, not only is this full moon lunar eclipse in Libra about us letting go of more old things that we've been trying to get rid of for a long time, and an old sense of alignment and ideas that came with that, and appearances and relationships, but it's also about us starting to get the seeds of new ideas, new opportunities that we might want to have for ourselves and work towards in relationships here and do after this point. Here that's coming, that can also be coming. I need to note another thing pretty quickly with the trine. Trines to me in predictive astrology can indicate things happening pretty quickly, new ideas coming into our awareness, possibilities, opportunities here that we did not consider before that we might want to act on. Okay, that then leads me now to the next alignment that I want to mention here. Which is where the real challenges start to come in. And it's going to be here with Venus making a conjunction to Saturn in the sign of Pisces. Okay, now this is not the most difficult thing in the world, I suppose I should say, because Venus is in the sign of Pisces where it's exalted and therefore functions very well regardless of what it's doing. But even though it's not the worst thing, it isn't really the easiest thing either, because it's near Saturn, and Saturn is typically known as a planet of restriction and hard work that can slow things down or just make things feel harder to do. Here with like there's a heavier weight, especially when we have an eclipse in Libra, Venus ruled, which is also typically known as a slower sign that needs more time to kind of as well process things here as well. So this can, in a lot of ways, make us, even though we're getting tons of ideas about what we might want to do next, still feel slow, still feel stuck, still feel kind of unable to progress and unable to be at ease. Venus is a planet of ease, unable to be at ease, unable to rest, and unable to fully feel good about relationships and money as well, too, especially if we're kind of letting some things go here at this time. Here that's happening. Okay, so that's to continue bringing it together. What's going on? Full moon lunar eclipse, we're letting go of more old things from the past in a very significant way that were good for us at one time, but are no longer good for us. We've taken those as far as they can go. And we're letting go of an old sense of alignment and appearance and ideas that came with that, and relationships that came with that. And we're becoming more open to new ideas and new types of people we might want to connect with, and new things we might want to do in our future. And we're getting flooded with tons of ideas about what those might be. But even though we're becoming more open to new ideas and all of that, we're still feeling a little stuck here and unable to fully embrace these new ideas and new relationships and new things here that we really want to do and really have been trying to do, especially February of this year here. And not only feels a little stuck and slow and struggling to move forward on those things, but unable to be at ease as well. Unable to be at ease in a different experience of life with different relationships and money and things like that. Here that can be hard and make us feel a little frustrated here. At this time. Okay, maybe a little tired. The Pisces can kind of skew that way here as well. Not only do we have that, but the next alignment that I want to talk about is going to be Mercury. We've got Mercury now in pre-retrograde shadow at the time of this eclipse, coming off of a conjunction to Chiron here as well. So let's look at this. This is a difficult alignment, a lot more difficult than Venus conjunct Saturn, even though that one was a bit of a challenge too. And this one is difficult because Mercury is now in pre-retrograde shadow, meaning it's slowing down, about to go retrograde, hasn't gone retrograde yet. And then when it does go retrograde, it'll come back over this spot. Here, not only is it a challenge because of that, but also too because Chiron's involved, which does have to do with fears and insecurities in general. So this is a very challenging alignment. What is the difficulty about this? Well, Mercury does have a lot to do with our conscious mind, here the way we think and communicate, and also to being correlated to Gemini. It also does have to do with our environment, our physical environment, and how we arrange and organize some of those things, being also correlated to the sign of Virgo here. And when it's about to go retrograde, it can indicate a lack of clarity there, either confusion about some of these ideas that we're getting, what exactly they are, or how to enact them in the sign of Aries. Or if we're not confused about these ideas, we think we know what these ideas are, but maybe we're not seeing them clearly, which may come as a problem when Mercury actually does go retrograde a few weeks from now here. That's going on. That can be a challenge here. And that's going on. This can also start to create miscommunications here as well about these new ideas too, that can feel very uncomfortable with the Chiron and also stuck. Another indicator of us still being stuck, and unable to move forward here as well. That is going on here. So 2 indicators of us feeling stuck here at this time. Why? Now, let me give you some thoughts here on that. Why are we still feeling stuck? Like, we just released a lot of old things, that really we've been trying to release, I think for many years, especially since 2020, more things that keep coming up, and we're getting all these great ideas about what to do next. And why are we still feeling stuck here? Well, I'll give you a few thoughts. Mercury. Let me start with the Pisces here. We've got Venus conjunct Saturn in Pisces. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It's still about things from the past here that haven't fully been resolved here in some way, and will continue to be until all these planets get out of Pisces. There's still going to be more and more stuff buried in the past here that we still need to get rid of. So the reason why I think we're still stuck is because there's still some things from the past that haven't fully been resolved. Hey, what from the past might it be? Well, we're talking Mercury now. Mercury is about to go retrograde, also a symbol of going back to the past. Okay, still things from the past. Okay. Mercury has to do with 2 things I mentioned. It has to do with our mindset, and it has to do with adjusting our environment, because it relates to both Gemini and Virgo naturally. Well, part of Virgo is details, right? Little details. So not only are we having trouble moving forward because there's still something from the past, but it's more little details from the past. What we talked about 2 weeks ago at that new moon in Pisces, if you watch that video, were big things from the past. There's something big and significant from the past that needs to be gotten rid of here. Well, now after this lunar eclipse, it's the small details that relate to that. There's something smaller on top of whatever occurred 2 weeks ago that you were letting go of that still needs to be worked out, that just hasn't fully been finished yet, even though the lion's share of it has. And not only that, but again, Mercury has to do with our ideas. So not only are we feeling stuck because there's some little details from these things from the past that we've already been releasing that still needs to be taken care of, but also too because our ideas of ourselves, Aries, our identity, our idea of ourselves and who we are is still stuck in the past, is still stuck in the old things that we're getting rid of, whatever it was for you, the old relationships, the old job, the old home, the old money situation. Our identity is still stuck there. We still think that that is who we are instead of the new stuff that we're about to go into, and we haven't fully adjusted our identity and sense of self to be in alignment with the new identity and to be more okay and in balance and in harmony with those as well. That is the problem here that's going on. Okay. So do you see? Let me repeat that before I add 1 or 2 more things on this. what's going on at this full moon lunar eclipse in Libra is that we're releasing more significant big things from the past, 2020, but even before 2020, that are just no longer meant to move forward here with us in a different experience of life, and are no longer meant for us and in alignment with us here. And the appearance, the relationships, and the ideas that might have come with that here as well. And because we're letting those things go, we're then getting tons of new ideas about who we could be next, what we could do next, what opportunities we could pursue, what we could do with relationships here. That's going on. That's happening very quickly. That's very exciting. But even though we're letting the old go and opening up to new ideas, we're still struggling to enact the new ideas and the new relationships and opportunities and things that are going on here, and to move forward on those here, making us feel very stuck and confused and frustrated, maybe even hurt here, that's going on, and making us confused now about what to do and why things aren't happening here, and just uncertain and not think clearly, even if maybe some of us think we are here. And the reason why we're stuck, even though something good is going on here, is because there's still a few more details from these old things that you've been dealing with the past few weeks here that need to be tied up. Not big stuff, you've done that. The little details here, the job's not done, right? Until you do the little details here. And because our identity is still stuck in the old stuff here, in our sense of self, and we need to adjust that more towards these different experiences here that's happening. Okay. That then leads me now to the next thing that I want to mention, which is Mars here at the very beginning degrees of Pisces, because planets at the beginning or end of a sign can hold more influence over things. What I want to say about this, well, maybe just a quick note. Mars is fine in Pisces, but it's not a sign of moving fast here. Pisces is still a slower sign. It's more restful, needs more time alone, needs more time to rest and process things here. So this to me is another sign that we're not going to be able to move fast. And maybe I need to shift this as advice. I'm going to give you some advice here, especially with Mars being the ruler of the sun now in Aries. Okay, the advice here is to not try to go fast with these new ideas that it is that you're getting here, because I think we're still feeling off about them, or confused about them, or if we think we're not confused, there's something not right about them that you're not seeing yet. So I think that maybe I'll switch to advice here with the Mars and Pisces. The advice here is to slow down, not try to go fast. It's also to be patient. I consider Pisces a more patient sign, being the last sign of the zodiac, and more surrender to the divine, to a higher power, to the process, and more trusting of that. So that's part of the advice. Don't try to go fast because you're not thinking clearly here, and we still have more things right that need to be resolved. And to be patient, to trust the process, surrender. Not only that, but Pisces is the sign of the past, being the last sign of the zodiac, and that's where Mars is, that's where Venus is, that's where more of the momentum is there. And so it's also to devote more of, if you want to do something, if you're like, oh, I have to do things, then to devote more of your time and energy not towards new stuff, but towards the little details and resolving those here, or working some more things out here from the past that is going on. Okay, so I think that's a big piece of the advice that I want to give you, which is going to take a bit longer, especially while Mercury, right, has yet to even go retrograde, even though it's slowing down now, right? And when Mercury is retrograde, it's not always, on occasion, I might give you a different interpretation, but right, when Mercury's about to go retrograde, it's not the best time to start new things and to move forward fast on this stuff. We need to slow down, deal with old stuff, be patient, surrender, rest. That's really where more of the energy is. Okay, not only do I want to mention that of like the way to handle this eclipse is not to push through, but to slow down, be patient, deal with more things from the past, rest, all of that. But if you can do that, something very good is going to happen very soon. Now I'll give you another thought that's more hopeful here, and that's going to be Jupiter almost coming into a conjunction here with Uranus. It's still going to need about a month to do so, I believe, the end of April into the beginning of May. But as you can see here, it's 5 degrees apart, and that is close, considering they are, solar moving planets here, and considering that it's Jupiter, right? Jupiter, I might give like a bigger orb since it's a very big planet. Everything's big. We're starting to feel it a little, even though it's really the end of April into May. And this to me is actually a very good alignment that I like here, because Jupiter's involved here, which I consider to be about gifts, good luck, or if not that, then just wisdom and understanding that can be very helpful. So this is a good thing that we're leading towards if you can be patient and finish the old stuff. What is this? Well, Uranus is about the sudden and unexpected. It's also about breaking free, right, from things that have been holding us back here that's going on. Jupiter is about wisdom and understanding. It's also about new experiences here that, again, I think are meant to be good and better coming into the picture here. And it's in Taurus, which has to do with confidence, our sense of self, knowing who we are, stability and security here, and money and more self-reliance and things like that. So if you can be patient, finish with some of these old things here that's going on, and healing and working through some of that and resting, then I think that in a month or two's time, something very good is going to happen, perhaps unexpectedly, quickly, or when we never thought it would here. And that good, unexpected thing that's going to happen is that we're going to feel free from old things that have been bringing us down, and more able to move forward into a new and different experience in a more stable and secure way that's more in alignment with who we are. Better finances here, and it's going to feel, another thought, more tangible, more significant, like we've reached a significant milestone that I don't think we've reached since 2020 when it comes to this new experience here, since these are slower moving planets here. So we're going to feel like we've got something tangible, significant that we've been wanting since 2020 that we haven't had, finally starting to come together here when we didn't expect it would come here. But you don't need to push and force a lot in order for that to occur. Okay, and I think that's it. I think that's all I'm going to say here in terms of the aspects. Okay, because that's it, I'm going to repeat that one last time here and then add some other things. So let me do that, right? Move on to another section of this video. What I think is going on here at this full moon lunar eclipse in Libra is that we are letting go of, in a very significant way, old things in our lives from 2020, but I think even before 2020 here, that are just no longer in alignment with us and no longer meant for us at this time. Not only are we letting go of that, but we're also letting go of an old sense of alignment and peace that came with that here, and an appearance that might have came with that, ideas and relationships as well that were once a part of that are no longer meant for us here after this point, which is then opening up a lot of new ideas and possibilities about who we could be next, what we want to do next, what type of relationships we might want to partner with next here, that are coming on very fast and are very exciting. But even though we're letting go of these things that aren't working for us and open to new ideas and getting ideas about what we could do, we're still feeling stuck and unable to fully enact these new ideas or move forward on these new things that we're excited about here, which is making us feel very frustrated here and very confused now about why we're feeling stuck and about what to do in order to put these ideas into action and in order to move forward here. Or if we're not confused, to think we're good when we're really not here and not be seeing things clearly, and to have miscommunications around that could feel very triggering, because we've been trying to move on for a long time and we keep having issues that's going on. That can be very hard. That can be a challenge. And the reason why we're still stuck again and unable to move forward is not because we still have big things from the past to let go of. Most of that has been done, but because we've still got some little details from the past to take care of that I think are connected to whatever happened 2 weeks ago here that we still need to work through. And not only do we still have some details that we got to finish, you finish the drill, you have to finish all the way here, but we've also got internally a sense of self that's still stuck and identifying with the past, with these things that aren't good for us, with these things that no longer are resonating with us. And that's rejecting the new here as well that we need to also work through. And because that's what's going on, I'm going to give you some advice here. And the advice about how to handle this is not to move forward fast anyways and to try to do crazy stuff to move on with these new ideas. No, the advice I want to give you is to slow down here. Be patient, trust the process, and to finish taking care of any little details from the past that still need to be tied up and resolved, and to finish healing and adjusting your identity to this different experience here that's going on. Because if you can slow down and take the time in order to do that, then about a month to 2 months from now, something very beautiful in an unexpected fashion, I think, is going to happen here that you didn't see coming or didn't think was possible here. And this good unexpected thing that's going to occur is going to be something that you've been trying to manifest since 2020 that just hasn't come together, that now is finally manifesting in a significant way to break you free from the past, set you up for success, to feel better about yourself, money, more secure, more confident here, and all of that. If right, that's going to be better for you here. That's going to be helpful. Okay. And that's it. That's all I want to say there. Okay. What else? Usually what I like to do at this point in the video is now add any extra thoughts that maybe I didn't mention before. So give me a minute. I don't usually plan these. I just see what I feel. I don't know if I'm feeling there's any other thoughts here. Yeah, I don't know if any thoughts. It's just, you know, more old things, more old things from the past. You know, I know that is what we've been talking about, or what I've been talking about for a long time here, but things take a while in order to work out, you know. Yeah. Okay. Nothing's really coming to me at this moment. Because it's not, what I'm going to do next is look at your inside degrees. To do that, I'm going to pull the inside degrees up on the screen. They were not written by me. They were written by someone else named Elias Lonsdale, who channeled the meanings for each of the degrees from Spirit. I just like to look at these because I find them interesting, relevant, insightful. They get me thinking in different ways. So we're going to bring these up here. Okay, the full moon lunar eclipse in Libra is at 5 degrees, but I believe that the degree before, of, and after can all be relevant because the planets are in motion here. So I think they can all be useful. I'm going to say here, I like Libra 6 the best, but I believe that I also like 4 and 5. I think Libra 6 combines 4 and 5 in really nice ways. So I'm going to read 4 and 5, but I'm going to bring it all together with 6. So let's do that. Libra 4 says out of phase, out of sync, distressed and reactive, seeking comfort and stability where there is none, on a jag of insistency upon your own sensibility and feelings being important and inescapable. So let's start there. This to me has to do with the stuff that we're getting rid of, right? That's been harvested, isn't good for us anymore, you know, and that we don't need. So, and I think that's what's going on, right? Because we're letting go of things that we've harvested that are no longer working for us. We're feeling out of phase, right? Out of sync. Because when you let go of things you've been working towards for a while, it feels weird here. And we're seeking comfort and stability where there is none, right? Because we used to feel comfort and stability in the old things that we're letting go of, but now that we're letting go of it, it's not comfortable. So do you see, this to me is more the old sense, letting go of an old things we've been working towards that are no longer in sync with us, and now we're feeling distressed, uncomfortable, unstable. Okay. It says you are lulled by pain and anger to become hooked back into old stuck places, compulsively and automatically, and melodramatic display of dissension and dissatisfaction. You have a destructive vibration which is fueled by a high pure nature, but spun out of orbit into the wrong time and place where support and encouragement are lacking. Okay, so what this means to me is that because we're letting go of old things that used to be comfortable, but are no longer meant for us, and we're feeling stressed, uncomfortable, unstable here, we may have weird emotional responses. You know, I didn't really talk about anger too much here with, I don't know, the Mars and the Venus and Pisces, but maybe some of you could, with this being an eclipse, feel painful, angry, frustrated here because you don't have the old things to rely on and you don't know how to handle that. Here, that could go on. Okay, It says inside the soul, your lessons center around witnessing the lower nature becoming activated and moving through the awkward edge into deeper process and broader openings. So some of you, because you don't have the old stuff to hold on to anymore and you're letting that go, stressed, reactive, uncomfortable, unstable, painful, angry, lower nature gets activated. Okay, now let's read Libra 5. Libra 5 says, lively, energetic, spilling out over the edges, consciousness and sensibility, exuberant with the play of existence. Okay, the first thing that stands out to me is look at how different Libra 4 and Libra 5 is. Libra 4 is sad and angry, lower nature. Libra 5 to me is more exciting, more playful, more lighthearted, more positive here. That's going on. So I want to state that. Not only do I want to state that, I want to state that I actually think both are true here, that we're feeling both either together at this full moon lunar eclipse in Libra, or that if we're not feeling both together, like a weird sense of like uncomfortability and excitement and hope, then we're alternating back and forth. One minute we're feeling sad, we're leaving the past behind. The other minute we're feeling good, we've got new ideas. There can be a little bit of both that can happen, especially if we want to bring it back to the Libra where these degrees are, right? Libra is known as being indecisive. One minute I'm stuck in the past, the next minute I'm excited about the future. Which one is it? You know, so I think that we're actually feeling a little bit of both here. Okay, it says, not only do I feel like we're feeling a little bit of both, but the next thing that I want to say is I feel like more of the positive feelings are related to the new things, are related to the new ideas, the new possibilities here, as to where the negative stuff is related more towards the past and feeling insecure without these old things to lean on. Okay. Let's read on. It says, magnetized completely to enjoy and express and explore the personal, the interpersonal, and the sensuous vibrations, wanting to find out what is real here, what is truly alive, what is worth moving forward further with, experimental, loose, and carefree, most gifted and loving, appreciating, delighting how each one is, the connoisseur of chaos and the master of casual interspaces. So I think that's what I get. Part of us feels difficult to release these old things because we no longer have these old things to rely on anymore, but a part of us is really excited about what to do next. Feeling at the same time or alternating back and forth between the two. Then we'll read Libra 6 here, the degree after the eclipse. It says, 2 lives lived in one, the outer life and the inner life. Okay. So what I want to say is that to me, right, it confirms or echoes what I've just said. I think we're feeling both. 2 lives lived in one, both sad about leaving the past behind because it's what we used to rely on and we no longer have it, and both excited about what is next. So 2 lives lived in one, the outer life and the inner life, both approached oblivious to the other. The outer life of doing the right thing for others in extreme selflessness, the inner life rich with intricate and subtle realms to explore. So this degree makes distinctions here between the inner and the outer life and all of that, but I think the 2 lives lived in one here is the old and then, you know, the new, feeling attached to the old. Okay. It says, but I do agree. It says there are no crossover. It says the 2 are separately. The 2 are kind of happening in separate ways. The old is tying itself up, but the new is kind of separate from that. I do feel there's some of that. It says no crossover, 2 worlds held apart so that service can be pure and the inner search can be pursued from inward ways. Dreams, future, subtle realms are always there, yet the expression is simply whatever gives the most. And so the angels can weave beautifully through both sides and know them as one. So another thought that I have here from this degree, I do feel like there's 2 separate processes going on at once. Leaving the past behind, feel insecure now that it's not there, new ideas, excited about those, don't know what those are. Okay. But this is also saying that maybe in some ways they need to be held apart just for the time being in order to figure each one out, but that eventually they're going to come together, I probably think, when Jupiter conjuncts Uranus. Okay. A month and a half from now. Okay. And I think on another thought, this actually, helps me realize what I maybe should have articulated more clearly earlier in this video. I do think that there's, 2 separate processes. And I'm going to say it again so I can add more information on it. There's the process of releasing old things from the past. and there's the process of new ideas and what's going on there. And I think to isolate those here, what's going on when it comes to this old stuff from the past that we're releasing is that we are releasing it, okay? But we still feel attached to it, and we're releasing it. We know it needs to be released, but we still feel attached to it. And because we still feel attached to it, but it's no longer here, we're feeling unmoored, unstable, and insecure, uncomfortable, because now we don't have those things we used to have to rely on. And then there's the second process. Now I'm going to shift to that of the new things. And we have the new things going on, and we're excited about the new things and the new ideas and what they are, but it's hard for us to pursue the new ideas because, right, the past still hasn't been finished, and we've still got the identity issues of feeling insecure without these old things here that's going on that really still needs to be resolved, making us confused, like weirdly blending together and making us confused when really they probably need to be more separate and dealt with separately from what the inside degree might be saying, and to deal with the old stuff first so that the new stuff can go on. Because sometimes, you know, another thought, sometimes this can happen during Mercury retrogrades. We try to do everything together. Like, it's fine. I don't need to do everything perfect. I'll release the past and I'll try the new things at the same time. You know, I feel like we can do that, but that's really why there's a lot of problems, I think, when Mercury goes retrograde, is that we try to say, it's fine. I still have some old things I need to resolve, but I'll try to do new stuff anyways. And really, I think the impression I'm feeling now is like we need to keep them separate. Don't try to do new things yet until the old has been finished. Because if you're trying to do more of these new things before the old has been finished, then the new stuff's going to be tainted with the old, and you're never going to fully have processed the old things here. So you kind of need to keep them separate here. That's going on. Okay. Another thing that I want to do here that I was reminded of from the Inside Degrees, maybe give you some examples. Maybe I should have done this earlier in the video during the other notes section, but I'm going to do it here now. And then I'm going to pull your card. What can this look like? Well, for some of you, this could be a job thing. Maybe some of you have had a job for a very long time that you've been doing for many years, maybe since 2020, but could even be for some of you before 2020. And maybe you've been trying to end this job, or maybe this job is just no longer meant for you. Well, what could have happened during the past 2 weeks is that job could have ended unexpectedly. You know, either you left it unexpectedly, or you got fired unexpectedly, or you got a new, you know, you started to get a new job unexpectedly. It could be something like that here that's been going on here. Well, what might need to happen here at this eclipse is that either you wait to start the new job until, like, you know, a month and a half from now, and you spend these next few weeks just like resting here, or healing from this old experience and adjusting your identity here, or you still stay at the old job for another month or so until, you know, April, when that happens, and then you'll get, you know, you'll feel more ready to start the new here. Or if you have to start a new job now, then to just realize that you're not in the right headspace for it, and that you might just need to go slow and be patient and to give yourself some more time to adjust. Another way this could be relationship related. So maybe 2 weeks ago at that new moon in Pisces, some of you ended a relationship, feels more endings here, that you'd been a part of since 2020, or maybe might have even happened before 2020 here, which could have ended in a variety of ways, somewhat unexpectedly. Here, well, what could go on now is that you could be trying to figure out what you want to do next. If you want to be single next, if there's another relationship you want to get into, if there's kids to be, you know, you can be thinking about what you want to do next now that you don't have that relationship here. And what needs to happen is that you really need to focus on finishing that old one, you know, finishing the divorce or healing from whatever happened there and adjusting your identity before dating again, or before, you know, doing all this crazy stuff, you know, and you need to spend time kind of healing that kind of stuff. What else could this be? Maybe this is a health situation. So maybe what could have happened 2 weeks ago at that new moon in Pisces is that some of you could have unexpectedly started to resolve a health situation that maybe started in 2020 or started before 2020, and to get that on a much better trajectory towards healing or just being handled here, or started to connect with better doctors, things like that. And that could be going well. But now what you could want to do with this eclipse is now do more things with your body because you're feeling better. Do more things with your body, push your body harder, or to heal faster, or to do other things. And what really needs to happen at this eclipse here is to not try to do more with your body or to push things to happen faster, but to really take the time to finish up the healing of the old and release whatever challenges might have come from that and the feelings, so that you can eventually move onwards there. This could be a home or family situation. So maybe some of you 2 or so weeks ago moved here, or unexpectedly, right, left your home, something of that regard, or something with the family shifted. And what could happen now is that you might either want to move into the new home or have tons of new ideas about what you could do with your home. And what really needs to happen at this eclipse in Libra is that you might need to just hold off on moving in until Mercury goes direct a month or a half from now. Or if you're gonna move in your new home, give yourself enough time and space in order to do so here, and to focus more on ending the old things first. That could be going on. This could also be something with a business, if you own a business. So maybe 2 weeks ago, some of you realized that there's something with your business that you either wanted to end or change or do differently that you could have started to do. And then now at this full moon lunar eclipse in Libra, you could be thinking about, well, what you can do next, a new business or new ideas or new thoughts about all of that. And what you really need to do is just slow down and finish ending these old things, and emotionally adjusting out of that before taking your next steps on whatever you want to do with a business project. And I think that's it, because that's it. I'm just going to pull your card. So let's take a look at that. Your card here is the King of Wands upright. And at the bottom of the deck, we've got the Ace of Swords upright. I typically see the kings as organizers, not so much doing the work themselves, but, getting other things and resources and tools in order to help them do so, and to bring more things together. So I think that those are my thoughts here, is that when it comes to these old things we still need to tie up, a lot of you have done the big work. It's just and taking care of a lot of stuff. It's just about finishing the details, and bringing everything together, bringing all of the details together that you've already tied up, or all the things that you've already worked out, like to make sure they're all on the same page. I think there's still something like that needs to be done. So resolve old things, take care of little details, and the extra point here, bring all of the things you've already done together in a more holistic way so that you can move on. Because, right, a lot of you either haven't fully finished taking care of the details of this past event, or maybe you have taken care of the details, but everything still feels scattered from this old thing in a bunch of different places. You need to bring it all together and get everyone and everything on the same page here. Okay. About what's going on. Anything else? The Ace of Swords is interesting. It is about communication. I might try to communicate multiple times extra clear with Mercury now in retrograde about things you might need here as well, or to double check things when you communicate, to make sure that as you're bringing things together and getting everyone on the same page here, that that they agree. Because getting rid of these old things, and getting everyone on the same page and proper communication is going to help you do whatever you want to do a month and a half from now easier with less effort. Because I don't really think that the new stuff you want to do, especially seeing these cards, is really going to take that much effort. I feel like the new stuff you want to do is actually pretty easy. It's just like the old stuff is in the way that is more complicated, that needs to be tied up. So I think that's what I'm going to say there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that was helpful for you. I wish you all the best at this lunar eclipse, and I will talk to you on the next video.